He shuns mediocrity, and no detail goes unnoticed. Perhaps not surprising from the hospitality graduate from Switzerland who took the famed Nepali hospitality and gave it an international upgrade. Khem Lakai, the founder of Global Academy of Tourism and Hospitality Education, GateCollege, is on a mission to bridge the gap between hospitality industry and hospitality education in Nepal.
My father was the first shopkeeper in my village, so we were quite used to socializing with the people, meeting different people, and so that was quite normal. And so, but at the same time, Lakai is such a beautiful village. You have got the Gauri Shankar just in front of you, wanting to talk to you when you get up in the morning, right? And those mountains are inspiration actually, and they play a big role in your later life actually. And that was it. We were siblings, but I lost my mom quite early. At the age of 11, I lost my mom. And then the whole thing changed. Actually, that brought me to Kathmandu because my father decided to send me to Kathmandu, and he believed in education. And so I ended up in a government school in Delhi Bazaar, where I finished my high school.
Lakai fondly remembers that his father genuinely cared about people around him. In fact, it's this upbringing that made it easier for him to embrace hospitality. After all, what is life but one great adventure, best enjoyed with people around you?
He was able to read and write in Nepalese, but he didn't know a word of English. And what bothered him is when he came to Kathmandu, he couldn't read the English signboard. And so his first desire and dream was to, if my son one day can read these signboards, that was his desire, which I could do. He brought me to Kathmandu. First introduction to Kathmandu was when I was 6 years old, I remember. At 6 years old, I could make him happy. I could read the signboards, and he was so proud, And then he said, look, my son can read English signboards, And he used to brag about that among the villagers. So you should send your children to school, Later on, they can also read the signboards. And his values are the particularly important one that influenced me a lot. He cared about the people. He cared about every other people we need to help. And so I think I got a lot of those directions from my father.
Keeping a full-time job while pursuing a degree in college is a difficult proposition. But Lakai believes that's the way it should be. One must work and learn the value of time management early on, as it helps in understanding the relationship between hard work and earning. So what about setbacks? Lakai is quick to comment. They are your setup for comeback.
My first attempt before Solti, I tried to work in one of those restaurants in Kantipat, and then the owner said, with this English, you're kidding me? You cannot work. The tourists come, they speak English. Your English is not good. So I had two choices: to feel bad, to feel victim about who I am, or to turn around and then say, what can I do about it? So I did the right thing by enrolling in one of those early days, the British Council there. I still remember the detail. It cost me 68 rupees for membership, I think, and I could afford that. So I gave 3 hours every day to work on my English. After a year, I went back and I was hired. And then, of course, when I worked in Solti, I managed to be in one of those 15 days selected, the first Oberoi batch, training batch. And then I had no other choice but to be the best. So I did become the best. So I was the topper. And as a topper, I was offered employment. Then my hospitality, official journey to hospitality began.
Khem Lakai shares that people laughed at him when he told them about his chosen career path. Back then, hospitality was not considered a glamorous job, but it's all about doing what you want to do. He adds, if you are passionate about your work, everything will fall into place, even people's perception.
My father used to tell stories when they used to go for a salt, Wherever they ended up, people would get even, maybe not the room, You give a food, you give a shelter, you give a comfort. That's where it is derived from. We treat guests as God. We say that cannot be, there cannot be higher definition than that of hospitality, right? And if we just stick to that original concept of humanity, and that also, you used to do this as a volunteer, and now you are even paid for that. How beautiful is that, right? So the concept now you need to remind in the modern days, the basic core concept, it's about people. Oh well, people have a 5-star hotel, now even talking about 7-star hotel. The core concept doesn't change. Or you have a lodge, just 5 rooms or 6 rooms. Your fundamentals should not change, all right? So, and that's hospitality to me.
While working in Middle East, Lakai met hundreds of young Nepalis struggling to get work. Most of them lacked skills. It was this hardship that made him realize that if these young kids were armed with vocational skills, they could find better livelihood in or outside Nepal. With this realization, he dropped everything, came back to Nepal, and started GateCollege in 2007.
One of the best things that happened in my life is that our student population is so diverse. They come from all over Nepal. And when they come from all over Nepal and when I interact, I see the face of Nepal. I feel my country, And then my desire to work in this sector that I know, I have become even more passionate. So now my goals are even much clearer now. I don't have to look back. It makes me so happy and proud that Nepal, for the first time, is introducing National Vocational Qualification Framework, National Vocational Qualification System in the country. Next 1 decade, we'll get there. And people will understand, like Switzerland, as I must say, and like many other developed countries, those university-going scholars are going to be 16 to 20%. 80% of the people, they'll choose the profession, they'll choose the passion, work on that, be the master of that, and have a good life. And that's how the country progresses. And then I'm very proud that I'm doing what I can in this small area of tourism and hospitality. And I'll continue to do so.
Founder of GateCollege, Khem Lakai reveals that one of his dreams is to one day institutionalize the ethnic foods from various cultures and geographies of Nepal and make them available for everybody to enjoy. Sanitation and hygiene is another cause close to his heart. He wants to promote an appropriate culture of food safety in Nepal.
When I was 11, I lost my mom, I was just told, and she died of hepatitis. Nobody should die of hepatitis today, which you commonly call a jaundice. Jaundice is spread because of a basic contamination in a water and a food, right? And I know that hundreds of mothers and children are still dying today. So we published the first edition of Nepali food hygiene book, which ran out. Now we are publishing 5 times more on the second edition, and not only that, we're giving it for free. We're producing an online course in food hygiene in English and in Nepali. And one fine day my hope is that should even be included in your high school curriculum. And so every Nepalese grow up with the basic idea of what is food hygiene. And one fine day, no one should lose their mother or father or children because of a silly disease like hepatitis.
After making a mark in mainstream entrepreneurs, he has taken up the responsibility of mentoring a new breed of hospitality professionals who are confident, skilled, sophisticated, and roaring to take the industry by storm. And his advice to those who have always wanted to follow their dreams? Simple: get curious and explore.
There were several things, of course. the several things are still prevalent in our society, which is, well, if you come from a particular place, if you went to government school, if you didn't have a distinction or everything, then you're not going to succeed. I refuse to believe those. So that I refuse to believe those. But then I understood the value of personal development. You have to keep on learning, and learning doesn't end. I mean, throughout your life you keep learning. And so if you keep that spirit, then it keeps on pushing towards your goal. That's what I realized.
We know that there's always been a huge gap between our field of study and its related industry. So Khem Lakai is on a mission to bridge that gap between the hospitality industry and hospitality education. Lakai has taken up the responsibility to mentor young, confident and skilled hospitality professionals. He's also been very instrumental in pushing our Nepali cuisine to a more creative level. And we wish him all the very best for his good work.